Skinner, Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Ship. Oh, no, I nearly swore at the
Welcome back, Frank.
I'm
Welcome
Bye,
back.
everyone.
rusty as hell. Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. You can text us on 81215. Why don't you? I've missed it. I didn't get any texts at all while I was away. And you can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Or you can email us through the Absolute Radio website. Oh, Mr. Corbett. So, let me start like this. I'm with Emily Dean, and also Steve Hall is here today.
Good morning.
Steve Hall is all over this show like a rash.
He is.
You know,
He's got his little feet under the table.
He's the house guest who around Thursday says, I couldn't stay another week. Anyway, it's always a joy. And, oh, boy, I haven't played this for a
And
while.
they don't give you money, these house guests, Frank. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
These house guests, they don't buy anything. They might get like something a bit useless, like a box of chocolates or something. They'll never actually buy bread.
No,
or
you're
milk.
right.
Next week, the hint is taken. Next week, I'm coming in with chocolates and bread.
Thank you.
Anyway, I got a car in this morning. I don't walk into Absolute Radio at that time of the morning. Anything could happen. It's people on their way home is what you pass at that time of the morning in London, not people going out.
Yeah.
And they're all on the ecstasies. I can't walk around. Funnily enough, that's coincidentally, actually, as I mentioned that. I don't know if I ever told you, but I did an interview with, I think, The Guardian.
Lovely.
And the woman who was interviewing me, this is a couple of years ago probably, said, a friend of mine was on a train with you. She sat opposite you. And she said, you did amyl nitrate for the whole journey.
Wow.
I thought people are so indiscreet. Obviously, it wasn't
that's
true.
That's a bit of a gay drug, isn't it?
I
believe.
It is if you have enough of it. They all are, I find. I find 10 pints of mild can be a gay drug. Depends where you are, what kind of mood you're in.
It's not normally the sort of thing you associate with a train journey.
I'll tell you what,
Can I get a Kit Kat?
Depends on your
I'll tell you
train
what,
journey.
I don't associate it with, and that's breakfast radio. So,
Yeah.
let us move on. Can I say that I'm anti-drugs, as is the Absolute Radio institution? So it was obviously a case of mistaken identity.
Yeah.
And then this morning, I got a car, and the guy said to me, I gave you a lift 7 years ago from Reading. And I thought, I wonder if it's me, because I don't. I mean, we're all in Reading occasionally. I think we'll admit that. And I just go to look at that big wind farm thing at one end of the football ground.
Yeah.
They've got an entire wind farm propeller thing, and apparently it just operates the till in the club shop. That's all the power it generates. But anyway, and he said, yeah, I'll pick you up and I'll drop you down by, you were by Maddox Street, you got dropped off. I thought, I don't know what you're talking about, I don't know where, but I said, yeah, oh, you know, when you did that, rings, And then he said, we drove on for a bit. He said, you know why I remember that journey? And I thought, was I doing amyl nitrate? No, I said, no. Why? He said, you gave me a £50 tip. I thought it wasn't me.
It so wasn't you,
It
darling.
definitely wasn't me, under no circumstances. But what a great case of mistaken identity.
Oh,
'Cause I
you
thought-
know what? I think that was Norton. He strikes me as a big tipper.
Oh, what do you mean? Do you mean in Reading or on the train?
That would change the Shaggy song. You tip very generously. It wasn't me.
Yeah. But then I thought, that's great, because he now thinks I'm the bloke that gave. He's probably told lots of people that story, and it's great publicity for me being a good guy. And then, towards the end of the journey, I started to think, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
He's not anticipating some sort of tip, is he, at the end of this?
That covers every journey he's ever going to make.
Yeah, and I thought that was fair enough. But what a lovely case of being. I was mistaken for someone generous.
Lovely.
This is Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've heard from the outside world already, Frank.
That's exciting.
You've been spotted on your travels, on your sojourn. Simon at work in Wimbledon has emailed to say, morning troops, how did Buzz enjoy Cropredy? He says, Simon says, I saw him and Frank mooching down the towpath last week, not making any eye contact, although seeing as I'm a 6'5" crop-haired goon with 9 teeth and currently rocking a full ginger Brian Blessed, amazingly currently single Miss D, it's hardly surprising. He asked, did you glamp it up on a canal boat or mingle with the hoi polloi in the fields?
I did neither of those things. I drove down on the morning and drove back that night, which I think was for the best, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He says the Levellers are the best band, followed by the Peat Bog Fairies.
Did he? We're all entitled to our opinions. I thought Nick Kershaw sang like a beautiful angel.
I'm a big Kershaw fan.
And I met Tom Robinson as well.
Very nice.
Yeah, he was.
How's he these days?
Well, a friend of mine was on a train journey sitting opposite him. No, obviously he's changed in many ways, but he seemed... he had a walking stick, actually.
Oh.
Which always looks good, doesn't it? I almost dream of an injury. There was once I did my back in and I got legitimately... The hospital gave me a walking stick. He looked so good with a walking stick.
My dad's got a walking stick.
It's a bit Sir John Gielgud.
Does he carry it well?
He carries it well. He had polio, so it's a sort of a necessary thing. I don't want to take things down. He's the coolest. He's the coolest polio survivor in town.
But you couldn't say that when Ian Dury was alive.
No.
Okay. Well, I just think I like the idea of looking like the slightly crippled ballet master. That's what I want to look like. I think we all do deep down. So. Yes, I went to I got to be honest with you, and I know probably as a music radio presenter I shouldn't say this, but I don't love festivals.
Don't you, Frank?
I don't.
Why not?
Because I find one thing that you can never really get at a festival is cosy.
Oh, how do you say cosy? I thought you were going to say something else.
And I like to be cosy. You know what I mean? I like to think, and I'm always out. When you're at a festival, you're always out, even if you're in a tent.
I know what you mean.
You're out. It's a long time to be out, 3 days.
Were you in a tent then?
No, but if I'm on about when you are.
Okay.
And
it depends. So you went to Where is Cropredy?
Cropredy is in Oxfordshire, and it's the festival. It's built around, really, Fairport Convention. The folk rock legends. Yeah. And they close it, but there's all sorts of other people on. Who else was on? Alice Cooper was on.
Oh, lovely.
Not that folky. It's just music.
Yeah. Did he have all his leathers on?
I missed Alice Cooper. He was on the night before.
A folk version of any of his songs? Does he do Schools Out with a Hey Nonny Nonny?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm guessing not. And I went to buy a super long hot dog from a stall. I think that's what they were described as.
Oh yeah.
And you have to be careful with a super long hot dog that you're not just buying a super long bap with a normal sausage cut into two and put in both ends and then filled with onion. But it was a long sausage, I must say. And the man said to me, so I was getting served, and the bloke who was like not serving me, but who clearly was the boss of the stall.
He was the gaffer.
Said, we've met before. And everybody in the queue started staring at me, and I thought, oh no, I've been identified now. And he said, I sold you a corn on the cob at Gay Pride.
Well, maybe he did.
Fabulous.
I've obviously got a gay lookalike.
Yeah.
He's called Graham Norton.
But I've been to Gay Pride in Brighton, and maybe I did buy a corn on the cob.
Did you give him a sizable tip? Financially, I didn't. I really did not.
No, I never tipped my hot dog man. I think that's getting a bit too far. And then I had one of those things where someone came up to me and they said, no, what's your name? And I never want to say my name because it's a bit desperate. And he said, he was a kid. He was about, I say a kid, he was about 16 or 17. He said, oh, come on, what's your name? What's your name? And I said, I don't, you have to come up with my name. And he said, would I be right in saying that you won a national television award? And I said, maybe. I didn't.
Oh,
I never have won one. But I wasn't going to say no, that wouldn't be right, because I thought,
he might have thought you were Stephen Tompkinson. That's your other looky-likey.
That's it. Yeah, I thought he was going to say Stephen Fry. I should have worn that seatbelt. Looking back, but anyway, then he said, hold on, he's my... Dad! So then his dad came over and he said, what's his name by now? It's, he's pointing at me like I'm a wardrobe. He said, what's his name? And his dad says, Frank. Oh,
the dad's doing well.
And then his dad says, Frank, where's your mother? Your mother will know. And I thought, what? I need an entire family now to identify me. Where's my agent? That's what I thought.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Frank, you were talking about Tom Robinson earlier. 131 says, Frank, did Tom give you some barley water?
Robinson's barley. I hope that isn't some seedy joke.
No, but it's 131. He's one of our regular punters.
That's all right. He's all in black as well, Tom.
Of course he was.
I don't understand the all in black people. People that never ever wear anything. Johnny Cash, okay, but that's it.
Particularly in the hot weather, he'd have been suffering.
But you do see. I always associate it generally with mental illness. People are all in black.
Especially people in the fashion industry.
Especially if people in England who wear one of those bootlace ties, bolero ties, and like a mock leather. Oh God, be careful. It's right up there with more than 4 badges. That's a sign. And, of course, lined writing paper in letters. OK. So I was at Cropredy. That was my festival of the summer. And I'll tell you what was sweet. A dad came up to me with his son, who I'd say was about 12 or something.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at guessing the ages of children. That would be a quote that we'll hear from some celebrity over the next 12 months. And I had a photo with a kid, and the kid said to me, "Oh, you're a lot taller than you look on the radio," which I thought was quite a funny thing.
Yeah.
And off he went. And then he came back about 10 minutes later. I was talking to him. He came. He said, "I just want to say this as a thank you," and he gave me a cornetto.
Lovely.
I never get a thank you for having a photo.
Did you eat the cornetto?
I did eat the cornetto.
How did you feel afterwards?
Did you wake up 3 days later?
As you probably guessed, there was a little bit of dog excrement towards the pointy end.
So
but,
hard to tell.
joke's a joke. I like a practical joke as much as the best man. No, I didn't detect anything in it, and I didn't go, oh man, everything's orange after I'd eaten it.
Okay.
It wasn't that kind of festival.
An announcement like at
practical
Woodstock,
joke.
hey man, there's some bad cornettos out there.
Yeah,
Everyone
exactly.
just don't care.
It wasn't like, I don't think there was any... it's been a very drug talk this morning. What do I know about it? I had a junior aspirin in 64. That was the last one. That'll be another quote. So, yeah. But then, now, this guy come up to me.
Was he still at the Fairport Convention?
Still there. He had a shaved head.
Oh.
No.
Talking a bit taxi driver.
Which at a folky festival, he's going to stick out.
I just
presumably.
think generally...
It's aggressive looking.
I'm wondering if it should be made illegal, along with all dogs.
It's a controversial policy.
Well, someone has got to clean up this mess.
I don't like it. I'm not going to lie. I know he's not here to defend himself. I don't like it when the cockerel shaves his head.
He doesn't shave.
He has a close crop. It's a bit keeper of the order. I don't like it.
He goes kind of suede head, doesn't he?
I think the cockerel is a man who went to drama school but has never quite lost that northern need to appear a bit hard.
But he is quite a hard man, the cockerel.
Is he?
Yeah.
Why are we talking about him like his ex-boyfriend? He's still around.
Yeah.
Anyway, he looks very hot, so it's fine. But the shaven creature approached you.
Yeah, so and there's a thing, this has only happened to me about 3 times, but he put his arm round my neck for the photo, and then he squeezed quite hard. And
yeah,
I didn't like it.
No.
He had sportswear on as well, which is another very bad sign.
What were the shoes?
Sportswear at the Fairport Convention Festival.
When you say sportswear, what, an England shirt or something?
I think it was. It had Man United on it, but it wasn't a Man United shirt. It was a sort of a club shop polo. I mean,
it's a step up the bunny ears behind the head. That's route one.
You know what are we going to do about these people? What are people like us, sort of just gentle people who like to read? What are we going to do about people like that?
Well, there was that judge who...
No! What are we going to do about it? That's this morning's
That's
text.
8, 12, 15.
Are you talking, Frank, so people... Is it the shaved
today,
head?
also today, I must play the next record, but also this week, I was driving down the road and there was a big line of traffic on the other side, and I thought, well, obviously this car will pull in, and the car didn't pull in, it just kept going. So I had to back up, even though the traffic was on the other side of the road. And the man who went past, sure enough, had a shaven head.
Oh,
And I thought, what are we going to do?
Wow.
So I thought to myself, when are the good people going to do something about the bad people?
8, 12, 15. Is sterilisation the answer?
No, I don't want to do anything horrible to them. I want to re-educate. But we could start by banning the shaved head. And all dogs.
This is Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've had some excellent text messages in already.
Yeah.
Lee has texted to say, God help any shaved dogs in Frank's world.
Yeah.
You do get shaved dogs, don't you?
218 says, I shaved my head about 2 months ago in an attempt to make my balding look intentional. I instantly look like a long-lost Mitchell brother. Depressing. That's Mike from Oxford. And he's from Oxford, so he sounds a nice boy.
He might have been at Cropredy, for all we know. But, yeah, I think a lot of people do that, obviously. They're going bald, and they think, oh, well, if I shave it, people will think I've deliberately...
Yeah.
But,
We know, just FYI, we never fall for that.
no, we know. We know. We think, oh, no, you've just... Why don't you go for that lovely Nick Robinson, Philip Larkin
Yeah.
hair just round the back and sides? Much nicer.
The balder I go, people are suggesting I shave the head. And if I was to... I've got a massive
Steve.
face. I've got a gigantic nose because I would look so gargoyle-y if I shaved my
How
head.
long do you think you've got? I'm gonna be
I'd
honest
give
with you.
myself
Hold on.
3 or 4 years.
Oh, sorry, I thought you'd
I think about...
accidentally opened his test results.
Career-wise, a fortnight.
I'd say, hair-wise, what would you say, Frank? I think you've got 7 or 8 in you.
No, you've got the kind of hair at the front that makes me tense.
Yeah, it's sped up as well.
Yeah, but I wish you'd just make your mind up. At the moment, it's like watching a van on the end of a precipice with people in it. Anyway, so, but I think you'll be all right with it because you've got that sort of, you've got a kind face. So you won't have that threatening, horrible heart. But don't shave your head.
Anyone going to tell me I've got a kind face? Please don't. 454. Hi, Frank and Emily. She didn't say Steve. I was going to lie to make you feel better, but I didn't. We were at a pub lunch last Sunday in Farnham, and my missus noted I was the only man in there without a shaved head. Oh.
Yeah, and I hope you left very soon
I don't know
afterwards.
if that's a comment on Farnham implicit there.
I don't know, Farnham, all I know is there's an air show, isn't there?
Yeah. I think Steve Williams, who is a friend of the show, I think he's moving to Farnham.
Is he? Moving to
so
Farnham. Steve Williams now.
So he may have to shave his head to fit in.
I think you got me. That's the name of his new album. Moving to Farnham. That'd be a great name for an album, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Should we move to Farnham just to see what happens? Okay.
Great. We've had another text from Nugget.
Oh, Nugget.
Who says, morning, Mr. Radio, Miss Emily, Wikistevia. Welcome back, Frank.
Wikistevia.
Oh, it's his name now. It's stuck.
He says, Frank, so your doppelganger, well, almost, Peter Capaldi is the new Doctor. I was relieved to hear you back on our airwaves this morning, as I thought you may have offed yourself after not getting the nod. Cheerful from Nugget there. You'd have been great, but I think Peter Capaldi might be pretty good, just saying.
Yes, I think that...
Frank, what did you think? Because you
I
weren't here
did
for the
think
big
that's my
news.
last chance gone. Because say if Capaldi does 3 years, which is the sort of average, I think, for a doctor, not counting your Ecclestons and stuff.
Yeah.
Then they're not going to want a doctor who looks a bit like the last doctor or the whole regeneration thing. They'll do a regeneration and
you're
the
so
assistant
right.
will say, did it not work? And I'll say, no, I have changed, but not as much as they usually do. So I think that's it for me. That's my
Were you
chance
pleased,
gone.
though? I thought you'd be a fan of
Oh, no, I
Capaldi.
think it's part of Stephen Moffat's scorched earth policy. He's bringing an older Doctor Who. All the kids will stop watching. And when he leaves the show, the whole show will collapse around us. Now, apparently there was lots of kids on Twitter, saying, oh, I won't watch it again because, I don't want to watch an old man
Is
close
that what they
up.
said?
Yeah.
Oh, they'd rather the old one who sold Peruvian hats in Camden Market.
No, but if you... who's that?
That's Matt Smith. He does look a bit like that.
No, I know what you mean, yeah. But he's sort of beautiful, Matt Smith. And I think Eccleston...
The young always are.
Tennant and Matt Smith could all be described as handsome young men. And I think the idea was that got in your female fans. Very patronising. That's like women going to football because they like their legs.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but I actually think he'll be brilliant. And I saw him in The Lady Killers in the West End, where he spent the whole thing wearing a very, very long scarf.
Oh, he knew.
Hey! What, weird? Because, because the long...
This is Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've heard from the outside world again. Rich in Isleworth on the subject of how to make Britain a better place, away from shaved dogs and the like.
Yes.
He said, introduce police power on the spot checks. Oh, sorry. Introduce police power on the spot checks.
Oh, okay.
I've got the cadence of that all wrong. He said, anyone in sportswear has to prove they can actually do the sport or be compelled to wear US-style orange prison jumpsuits.
I think that'll be all right.
That's fantastic.
I mean, I'm worrying now that...
I'd style it up with a belt.
I don't want to make it a horrible... I'm trying to fight against people who are aggressive and right-wing. So I want to try and find a way of making the shavy heads into nicer people. Because I can't live with them anymore.
Here's a question for you,
Guantanamo
Frank
Bay.
I
Skinner.
can't live with them anymore.
Okay,
Simple
Frank.
as that.
Who's worse, cigar smokers or shaven heads? I think they're a different category, aren't they?
I think cigar smokers are less likely to rip your face off. They're just a bit obnoxious and a bit full of themselves. But I think I'm generalising, by the way. Yeah, they're less frightening.
Okay.
This is based on the theory that you must have heard that only about 3% of humanity is truly good, and only 3% is truly evil, and the rest of us are just followers.
Oh.
So whoever we're in the company with, we can be good or bad. So if we can we cut down that 3% of the evil, everyone would be lovely.
If we can just combine it into one distilled... If we can get, Catherine Jenkins in some sportswear... getting someone in a headlock, and then she can take all the evil of the world on and kind of eliminate... She'll sort of make the average better for the rest of humanity.
Have you quite got your head around Catherine Jenkins? She epitomises evil. Okay, anyway,
look in your face there, like you'd seen Damien in The Omen.
I found it incredibly awkward. 360 has texted in, "Hi Frank and team, on your show of 27th of July... I like the legality of this. You talked about not liking how people said things. I don't recall, but it sounds like it could have been us. I.e., don't like hot weather. I remember that, Frank.
No,
remember that?
It was people saying they do like hot weather.
Exactly.
Because they wanted to sound cool and calypso.
Yes.
Instead of saying, oh, God, it's hot, I hate this. They didn't want to sound all dull.
On this same show, you spoke about Denise Lewis's hair being tidy and neat. My girlfriend said... Doesn't he mean neat and tidy? That's what I've got to put up with. Great show, Steve.
Well, I'm sorry about that, Steve. Her hair is getting more severe every day, though. I love it. She's starting to look like an avant-garde artist from the 1930s. Good old Denise. That's Lewis, not Welsh.
Yeah. So, talking of neat and tidy, old Steve has been boring us somewhat this morning, or he's boring me with talking about his household chores.
Well,
what chores?
Well, that's the thing. I'm given so few
did you not know that old musical joke?
Yes.
When they say I haven't done the chores yet, and somebody says, what chores? And you say, thanks very much, I'll have a double scotch. It's one of the great classics.
I know that in the context of Jaws, the film.
Oh,
Have you seen that new shark film, Jaws? What's Jaws?
That new shark? Oh!
But from the 70s, as in that was when it came out.
Oh, OK, that's obviously been modernised.
It could be, have you seen the baddie in James Bond with the big teeth?
Yeah, could be.
This is good.
Yeah.
Yes, no, my chores have been horrendous this week.
Oh, what's been going on?
I've let my wife down badly. I've given one thing to do, which is I'm meant to take the recycling out. And I get a bit obsessed with it, and ordinarily I'm all across it. And I forgot to take it out this week.
The recycling, what is in? It's in like a separate bag.
Well, Camden Council, they've now combined it. It used to be that you had paper separate and everything else, your plastics and your glass, in a different box. But now everything is a free for all, and they sort it themselves.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever sorted.
No, I totally agree with you, Frank.
I'm very
I
much.
totally agree.
One can only think of the railings in World War II, you know that?
Yeah.
You know, people used to send in, tear down their railings
Right.
and stuff, and give all sorts of metal for use for guns and bomb casing. And they found they were just dropping all this scrap metal in the Solent. It couldn't actually be used and recycled, but it just made people feel good they were helping the war
Yeah.
effort. And I think recycling works the same way, doesn't it? I don't think it's actually
Just being
recycled.
dumped. It's being dumped
I'm
offshore.
not blaming them. It's a picky old business, recycling.
Yeah.
But we all feel like we're doing something.
I get obsessed because I get if
I
there's a
don't.
few, every now and then they forget, they leave it, and I take it personally. If they don't,
You
collect
take it
up-
personally,
if
what, by car or by foot?
I do. I have to take it by hand to the nearest bin.
I like a
And I
dump.
get so upset because I started go. Why do they? I actually once said to my wife, "Why do they hate me?" About our
dear.
recycling, and I had a small breakdown.
But see, it makes you feel better because you think you're recycling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
now,
works.
well, the motor's been removed from my eyes now. Now that I realise there's no point in bothering, it's been dumped in the Solent on top of old railings.
Yeah, that is a fact, though, I think so.
Really?
I'm not saying it happens now, but I am saying it happens now.
I can't bear recycling.
Okay. I think that's the trailer sorted. I don't mind a chore, though, around the house.
Oh, I love a chore.
What's your favourite chore?
I'd say changing nappies, I think.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like changing.
Find it quite
I tell you what,
satisfying, Frank.
it's got none of the guesswork of wiping your own bottom. You can really make absolutely sure that it's spotlessly clean. Whereas, it's it is a guessing game, isn't it? When you do
Oh,
it,
yeah. Yeah.
you just there's a lot of hit and hope
Yeah.
about it.
Nice when it's all clean and nice as well. Love it. Nice new nappy.
Oh,
I'm talking
yes,
about the
yes,
baby.
yes. It is, yeah. You really feel like you've done him a good turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. Least favourite, I would say cleaning glasses.
I'm terrible at cleaning glasses. I get them so
Cleaning
smudgy.
glasses?
I don't mean spectacles.
You mean wine glasses?
you mean what-
I mean, tumblers.
Well, they
Cleaning tumblers. I had a job
They
at the
get-
circus. No,
they get so smeary.
they are.
And the smears.
I tell you something. Every glass in our house looks like we've drunk milk out of it.
Yeah.
And I never have a glass of milk ever. I haven't since the 70s. And but it's always got that line on the top, like
I tell you the worst, champagne glasses. I find that very difficult to get into the groove.
What glasses generally? They're a bit narrow. You can't get your hand in.
Yeah.
So you get those sort of so-called glass cleaning brushes that they just move the milk line so it's a bit less even. That's a horrible job.
I like the dishwasher though. I like slotting all the elements into the little grooves. It's like Connect 4. I love
I
it.
can't stand
Like
it.
an elaborate game of Tetris.
That moment
It's
when you switch the dishwasher on and you look
Oh.
across and there's two mugs on the coffee table.
They almost taunt you.
Yeah.
We
And that, have you ever done that thing of opening the door?
Oh,
When it's like the hot water dripping down and somebody get the... Oh!
Frank, I love it when you get a little steam, a little facial from the steam coming out. I like that.
That is a way of doing it. We'll come back to chores. And what's your least favourite and favourite chores? You, mate. Yeah, and put some pants on.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Steve Hall. You can text the show on 81215. Some of you already have, for goodness sake. Or you can follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio and email us through the Absolute Radio Webby. I'm calling it the Webby.
Oh, I hate that.
We've had a couple of different texts in from a few different people pointing out that it's not Farnham that's got the air show, it's Farnborough. Oh. So we've let down the people
I'm
of Farnborough.
sorry, everyone. People who've suddenly done a U-turn in order to head to Farnham this morning, saying, I said check it, didn't I? And now they're having to do another one. I'm not saying it's today, by the way. Don't go to Farnborough today for the air show. It might be there, it might not.
No.
I mean, what is an air show? It's a stiff neck the next day, that's all it's about. It can't be safe, can it, an air show?
Well, I only associate
No.
air shows with if you see
With
the
disasters.
news cover an air show, you know something bad's happening.
Exactly, yes.
Usually in Russia.
Oh, do you find so?
Usually in Russia, it's wouldn't be a bad T-shirt logo.
Anything bad happens. We've had we've had quite a few texts and emails in, Frank. Frankly, I don't know where to begin. Let's start with John Wilson. You were talking about people with shaven heads earlier. He says, make skinheads. Notice I say skinheads, not skinheads.
Yeah.
Make skinheads paint flowers on their heads.
That'd be good. But really, we want to do it, don't we? Don't we?
Yeah.
Couldn't we? Because really, that would be... If you approach that hostile sort of guy with the shaven head, the way... Do you remember in Tiananmen... Was it Tiananmen Square where
Yes.
the guy... No, it wasn't Tiananmen Square.
Tiananmen Square was...
Was it in
tanks.
Hungary where the guy put flowers down the turret?
Yeah.
Was that Hungary?
Or was it... it was Hungary or Prague?
Yeah, anyway, so they put flowers down the turret of the tank, and it was a beautiful example of peace triumphing over violence and aggression. Maybe we could put flowers into them. Maybe through their heads. If we could get sharp flowers, thorns, you could just slap a rose on the side of their head, on the back of their head.
Yeah.
Oh, we could all wear gauntlets. If you see a man with a shaven head, slap him on the back of the head with a rose and it'll be stuck there.
I might leave a lipstick print on his head as well.
Yeah, he'd just cover it with his hood.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, yes.
We've had some other texts.
I like the flowers on the head. We'll work on that.
631. Frank, I work in a recycling plant, and you are correct. It all gets dumped in one heap, even if it comes in sorted. Breaking news from Shadwell there.
That's a big news story for the day. That is
Shadwell, the voice of controversy.
we need the whistleblowers to point out the truth.
That is like that guy he's going to have to live in Russia now.
He's like Deep Throat. He's like Dump Throat.
He will. We'll have to find him somewhere. One of us will have to put him up now because he's going to be pursued by the recycling.
Come and stay with me, Shadwell.
I love that. It's a great name.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We were talking about the chores, the domestic chores, what you like and what you don't like.
We've had an overwhelming response as well.
Oh,
People
4,
feel strongly about
5,
this.
maybe?
Up
That's
to
it.
6 or 7.
Okay.
Dizzy Lizzie says, changing light bulbs, they scare me. I understand that. They are quite scary.
If she's got that name, Dizzy Lizzie, because of her terrible vertigo problems.
How many Dizzy Lizzies does it take to change a light bulb?
I haven't checked. See, the light bulbs in my flat, they're not the dangling, put a shade on them type. They're sort of embedded in the ceiling.
Oh,
If
yeah.
they go, I think you just have to leave them.
You have to sell the house.
Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't know.
No,
if
I
to
know
sell
how
it.
to change those. I'll come round, get a Doctor Who box set, because I'm up for that now.
Okay. Well, I've just got regenerations. We can sit and watch all the various regenerations right the way through, and then I'll do a live Peter Capaldi at the
I'd pay good money for that. We've had some other ones, haven't
I'd
we,
pay
Steve?
different money for it.
Joe from Herne Hill has texted in to say his worst chore has to be changing the bed covers. It's a nightmare, especially hungover.
They have to be hungover, I think. Otherwise, I just move about in the night. I find...
It depends what kind of a week I've had, I find,
Really?
on how difficult I find it.
Yeah.
How often are you supposed to change bed covers?
Once a week.
Oops.
I'll ask the cleaner. I don't know what she said. Do you ever find that fitted sheets they don't give you much? There's not much give in it.
That's
You know,
what I
you
like.
get to the end and you're real.
That's what I
You
like.
get it over the corner of the mattress, and if you read, I've done it when you really, really force it over, and the mattress is slightly raised in one corner like an old sandwich.
Yes.
Because you've forced over the fitted sheet. Can't they just give a bit more in a fitted sheet?
No, because then it'll go wrinkly in the mid-area,
No, but
in
if
the
it-
midfield.
If it closed like tighter underneath rather than just around the edges, are you with me? Like
I am with you.
Yeah.
But it ends up looking like the bed has put on weight. Like it had it had the sheet fitted, and then it's put on a few
It's
pounds.
trying to fit into a size 0 now, and it's not working.
Exactly. That is terrible. I'm thinking though, in my bedwetting days, I could have maybe. I wonder if I could have forced the shower cap over the bed, looking back. It would have been tight, but it would have been worth a try. I could have put one on me, I suppose. I could have just sat in one like a frog on a lily pad.
Tone from Battersea is a slightly unusual chore that they enjoy. I don't know if Tone could be a male or a female, but their favourite chore is, I love hooking a sausage from under the cooker as you get a few treats you didn't expect.
Oh.
So possibly from that, Tone may actually be some sort of canine who's looking for treats.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have thought it happens a lot, does it, a sausage under the cooker? Or is there an Alan Bennett play?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never go under the cooker anymore. There used to be bits down there.
Yeah.
See, I grew up with a dog, and you wouldn't find a sausage anywhere.
No.
That used to be the joy of just throwing meat into the air, and it never landed. The dog would just take it like a dolphin at some sort of display. Brilliant.
Frank Stephen Watford says, dear all, mixing all the recycling is called commingling. A lot of councils are introducing it.
I believe they do it in mortuaries, crematoriums.
Oh.
That I was told that it all gets all mixed up together, and if you go around for your relatives' ashes, they just
It's a pick and mix.
they just dip some out, yeah, and you get out all sorts.
Oh dear.
But it's the
Fantastic.
thought that counts.
We've had one final chore. Tony Harris, his least favourite chore is lifting my feet so the missus can vacuum under them.
That's a text that's taken nearly 40 years to come through.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, you know who we've heard from? Do you remember Emma Jackson, the athlete?
Oh,
the
yes,
800 metre runner.
she was at a big tournament, and she was listening to us before a race, I think.
She's one of our celebrity listeners.
Didn't she have a smiley Korean in the same room? I seem to remember.
Beg your pardon.
There was a smiley Korean in the same room, and she thought he was smiling at her because she was laughing at the radio.
She has texted us this morning.
Exciting.
I love a celebrity who gets involved.
Now, I don't mind her wearing sports gear if that's her gripe.
No,
fine
exactly.
with
She's
that.
entitled. She says, strangely, I love sweeping the kitchen floor. I think it makes me feel a bit like Cinderella.
No, I didn't think people still swept. Do
No.
people still sweep?
Again, you'd have to ask my cleaner.
Do you think she's got one of those brooms like what the witches have?
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
I don't. Do they? I thought you just vacuum now.
Well, there are still
Someone help me with this.
there are still sweepers out there, clearly.
Okay, well, it's great.
Well, we sometimes sweep. We've got
could be part of a regime, for all we know.
we sweep a bit.
Do you?
Yeah, because we've got sort of, the place we rent's got like laminate flooring.
Doesn't it bring up a lot of dust?
Yeah, well, you can get rid of that's, generally getting rid of the dust is a good idea.
Yeah, but when I was a labourer in a glass factory, I used to have a squeezy bottle full of water. I had to squirt that on the dust before I could sweep up, so the
really?
dust didn't rise up and irritate people.
You see, you in a glass factory, given your hatred of the smear on the glass, I can imagine that work. You found that very
And
tricky.
do you know what? We weren't allowed to throw stones either.
Frank, you know what we need to talk about this morning? We haven't discussed Jeremy Paxman.
Oh, yes.
This happened while you were away. He grew facial hair. He's become something of a silver fox.
Yeah,
in your absence.
I saw the pictures of him, and I saw a clip of him being bearded. I've seen him a little bit bearded before, might I tell you.
Really?
Have you?
When I met him on a plane coming from, I think, from Spain, and he...
Been on a desert island for some months.
he said he'd been trout fishing in Chile,
Wow.
which is up there with smoking a
It's
cigar.
almost salmon fishing in the Yemen, but not.
Did he
Yeah,
turn?
this is before
Sequel.
salmon fishing in the Yemen. It was the prequel.
Did he turn left? I suspect he did.
It wasn't that kind of a plane. It was a
private
sort
jet?
of a Ryanair type of a plane.
Oh, okay.
No, very much not a private jet.
Okay.
So he was slumming it, as they say.
Okay.
People got very excited. There's been quite a media frenzy about Paxo's beard.
Well, there's been a Twitter storm, I should imagine.
I haven't seen.
Twitter storm.
haven't
What is that? A Twitter storm? You'd think, mate, it'd be a tremendous amount of analysis and wit. What it is quite a lot of mentioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hashtagging.
People say things
Yeah.
like, check out Paxman's beard. You've got to do
Yeah,
more. I think you've got to do
Gotta
more,
go
than that. If you're going to go into the written word, you've got to do something rather than say, Paxman's beard's looking a bit grey. You need more than that.
Yeah.
It's about time they up their game a bit, the Twitter
Twitter
artists.
artists.
It's been all over. People have got, and then the press just quote the tweets. But I haven't seen such media obsession with a beard since Katie Holmes got divorced. It's been all over the shop.
Oh.
Well, did you see that picture of Emily Maitlis?
Emily
yeah.
Maitlis, yeah.
That she said she was going to grow a moustache just for a bit of a newsreader joke. And they did a mock-up of her with a moustache. And I have to say, she looked hot.
She did look fantastic.
You see, some people suit it. Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, not so much.
No, but I have thought this before. I did Let's Dance for Comic Relief.
I was there.
And Jordan was on doing Freddie Mercury.
Oh, yeah, I Want to Break
And she
Free.
had the big tash, and it really suited her.
Excellent.
So I think, women are sort of across the board now are anti-moustache. I just think give it a try and have a look at it.
Women are anti-moustache, yes, we are rather anti-moustache.
Yeah, never mind fracking. Stop threading. That's my message.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Now, we were talking about Jeremy Paxman's beard. Which I've been enjoying as an exclamation. It sounds like something Ron Burgundy would say, an anchorman. Paxman's beard!
Yeah, like, there is a beard one that used to be for us. That,
By Odin's
isn't it?
beard or Thor's
Something
beard
like
or
that,
something
yeah.
like that. But
Odin's
it's
beard,
quite a
maybe.
satisfying thing to do with newsreaders. Nicholas Witchell's toadying sneer.
Do you remember Perry White's Great Caesar's Ghost? That was a good exclamation. Perry White was the editor of the Daily Planet in Superman.
Ah,
That's where Superman worked.
I've only ever had one encounter with Jeremy Paxman, which was I was queuing behind
Have
him
you?
in an Indian restaurant in Edinburgh, Mother India.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved that he was still Jeremy Paxman in public, because there was quite a long queue, and the waiter came up. He was ahead of us in the queue, and the waiter came up to him and said, "I'm really sorry, it's going to be another 20 minutes." To which Paxman went, "You said that 20 minutes ago."
That's so how I want him to be.
I think he
saw
was
him-
treating that waiter like
I
he was
saw him
Michael
at
Howard.
the Barbers last week, and exactly the same thing happened. Stormed off, and sure enough. Well,
I like the beard, Frank.
I was at a test match with Jeremy Paxman.
Oh, lovely.
And John Burt, the Director General of the BBC, said, "I've just had a message to say that John Major has resigned." And Jeremy Paxman turned around and he actually said, "He's done what?" like they do in the films. And they had to send a fast car so he could be whisked off.
Wow.
Oh
And
my
he was
God, that's so glamorous.
And he was on Newsnight that night, and he got like a bit of a stripy blazer on from his test match thing.
He's done what is excellent
Yeah.
work.
He's done what?
Did he then say what the?
He didn't say what. though,
No, he should
unfortunately.
have.
If he had done, I'd have said ... at the end. I imagine he'd have got quite aggressive.
I have to say, I like the beard. It's quite sort of Tsar Nicholas II.
Yeah, he looks a bit like Ben Fogle. With it, there's a sort of he looks like a sort of slightly elder.
Oh, do you think so?
Ben Fogle. Am I alone in this? You're looking at me like I'm a madman.
No, I think he's got such a long face that he's a man who can grow a beard and not have to worry about it. It's at the other end of the room, as it were.
His face is so long, his beard looks like chest hair.
Does he even know he's got a beard?
He says he did it to make a point, because he said he's fighting back. He said the BBC are very anti-beards, and he calls it pognophobia. Apparently it's a fear of beards.
Yes. I don't believe that he did it as a protest. It's a sort of dirty protest. No, I think... Didn't he think I haven't been in the papers for ages?
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah.
That's gone a bit Jerry Halliwell, Jeremy Paxman.
Well, we all have these moments when we think that.
I like it when TV
I think
presenters...
every day.
No, but I like it when a TV presenter grows a beard. It points towards possibly some private chaos going on
Yeah.
in their lives.
Yes.
Well, it
They're
implies-
sleeping on the
yeah.
sofa, it's all gone a bit wrong.
It's sort of a delayed midlife crisis. Like the next
Yeah.
thing, he'll open a microbrewery. He'll start a music blogging website just to show he's going to move to Shoreditch.
Maybe he got really drunk and had, say, Gaga tattooed on his chin. And now he's stuck with it.
Well, he's got that nice thing because he's got grey hair, but the beard, there's still good patches of colour. So it's like he's kind of going, yeah, I'm still young.
What about if he had "I love poppers" tattooed on his face when he's at a party? He woke up the next morning and thought, "Oh my God, I've done what?" and he's had to grow a beard to cover it. That's what I like the sound of.
Well, he was in that train carriage with you. he got influenced.
That's who it was. It's all come back to me now, honestly. The confusion this morning has been a lot.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, you know where we haven't wandered into this morning?
I do. And you know why we haven't wandered into Email Corner? I can't find the jingle.
Oh, we're going to have to sing it.
Should we do it acoustic style?
Oh, God.
Oh, no, I've got it.
Okay.
Daisy. I've forgotten how to do this show.
Have you?
Yeah, it's too technical.
It's like riding a bike. You're good at that.
I've got buttons and stuff. Here we go. Email Corner. I thought
that was me.
Yeah, I thought I'd add a bit.
Let's kick off with Celia Potter.
Let's kick off here on Absolute Radio. First Saturday of the season. We're rocking out football. What do you think, right? That's another football promo.
Celia Potter. I like the sound of her. Frank.
Celia Potter.
That's a lovely name.
That is a good name.
She says, "Dear Frank, dear me and the cockerel." Apologies, Steve, but that's the way it goes.
That's life.
In a recent podcast, you mentioned an old topic of things... Oh, we must have been a bit slow on news that week. Of things you don't believe in. I don't believe anyone's dreams when they say, "Guess what I dreamt last night?" Well, this led me to wonder what little things you do believe in. My Auntie Anne, who is an educated, bright, successful woman, believes in fairies. She absolutely swears down that as a child she saw one. What do you and your readers believe in? I like swears down.
Yeah, I like that phrase, yeah.
Yes.
A lot of people believe in angels and things, don't they? I normally... I don't...
Well, I believe in God, you see. Once you believe in God, all bets are off.
It's a tricky question saying...
I prefer God to
suspicions
angels.
and myths do you believe in to a deeply religious man? That's a tricky...
You know, I can see why people would lump those with fairies and things.
I much prefer God to fairies.
Yeah, I think that's a general rule.
Yeah, and I much prefer God to angels.
Oh.
I don't like angels. I think it's very egotistical. It's like, I've got this special person looking after me, just me. That's what angels is about.
Your version of Robbie Williams' song would be very different.
Yeah, mine would be PAs, it would be called. Along when I've got to pay my house bills and I've got to book a train journey and I can't find my socks. Yeah.
I'm loving PAs instead.
Yeah. I'm hiring PAs instead. Little tip for all of you there. Get a PA.
She does offer you protection as well.
She does, not since I've settled down. I do, as I mentioned on here before, my last remaining superstition is I do salute magpies.
Yes, absolutely.
But I don't say good morning, Mr. Magpie, because I think it's a bit sexist. We're told to do that. I can't, because I can't sex them at sight. I just...
God!
I just
That's
salute.
never occurred to me. I do say, hello, Mr. Magpie, how are the wife and kids? And I've never realised before.
Yeah,
That's
what
it.
if you
don't say that?
Magpie? Female magpie is quite
People are going to
touchy
think
about
you're
it.
some sort of eccentric.
Well, I tell you what, if there's people about, I do a really, just like I'm slightly scratching my eyebrow, but I am saluting. I'll make that absolutely clear.
Really?
I will not pass a single magpie without a salute.
It's tricky because I live next door to Alan Pardew. So I have to say hello, Mr. Magpie.
Excellent. I think he's going to say Alan Partridge.
Yeah.
Got really confused. He's got the wrong bird, the big fool.
There's a Tumblr account called I'm Alan Partridge, which mixes Partridge quotes.
And can I say a tumbler is a type of pigeon? This is the most ornithological link I've ever done.
Now, we've had a few more texts on the chores issue.
What chores?
I'll have a glass of wine.
Okay. What, with a meal?
Do you like to just curl up on the sofa?
Nice glass of wine.
Oh, with a nice glass of red, like a man on a dating website.
Nice Pinot Noir.
Oh,
I've heard that. Carry on.
Mike in Oxford has texted to say his favourite chore is hoovering an essentially already clean floor. His least favourite, cleaning the toilet in a shared house, the domestic equivalent of defusing a bomb. Which sounds like some kind of passive-aggressive comment to his flatmates.
I can't see any joy in hoovering an already clean floor. You don't get any sense of having
There's
what
no
you've
achievement,
done.
yeah.
I can't see any joy in hoovering nowadays.
What about hovering? I've always dreamt of that.
And we've had some tweets. Marcus Borg said his least favourite chore is mowing the lawn, as next door's cat regularly leaves the feline version of landmines.
I thought they buried it, cats.
I thought they did. I don't think that's a cat you've got on your hands.
That's a goose that's blaming the cat.
Or just a very angry neighbour.
Or maybe a small, angry neighbour. Also possible.
Picture the wild character.
This is a slightly worrying thing, but I don't have a cover on my Kindle.
Oh, yeah.
So when I put it on the bedside table at night, last week I thought to myself, this is going to start to get really dusty. And then I thought, oh, no, of course it won't, 'cause it's like a different page every night. Now that is... And then I thought... why did I ever think that? So that is a worry. I've tell you what I've also taken to is when I've put the rubbish out, when I walk past back into the flat, just before I close the door, I shout, "And stay out!" It's very satisfying.
I love that you do comedy
It gets a laugh
for yourself.
the first time, I find, and not the 9th.
I think bins are barbaric anyway. Why can't they invent something better? An old black sack in the corner with all tuna and beans. It's disgusting.
I used to live in a block of flats, and if you put them down a chute, when you stick them down a chute,
Mr. Man of the People, Hall.
Crikey, it's just turned into a class war unexpectedly.
I've gone a bit Room 101.
But it's so satisfying if a bin travels down the chute and you hear it travel down the slide and it thunks into the collective bin at the bottom of the flats. That's awesome. And when it gets stuck halfway, I want to cry.
You put the bin down the chute.
You just put the bag. You put the bag, and it goes down the little
That's
slide.
right. No, that is lovely. That's a nice feeling you hear it go down. Oh yeah,
and it's like before. It's a little water slide for rubbish. To get to have a nice time.
Do you think of that man with the glasses on in that advert going through offices on the water slide?
Oh yeah.
But like, if he was rubbish, which obviously, can I say he isn't? Yeah.
Right, we've had a lot of people who still believe
in life after love.
No, they have strange suspicions. We were talking earlier.
Superstition.
Yeah, superstitions. We've got Philip Bailey. Hello, I never say Bloody Mary 3 times into a mirror in case she is summoned. Plus, I'm not keen on the beverage. That's an old superstition.
Is it? I've never heard that. Which Bloody Mary would they be talking about? Mary...
Queen of Scots?
No. Oh. Isn't it Mary, the Queen, who killed all the Protestants? Isn't that Bloody Mary? I'm showing my ignorance there. Come on, Steve.
I should know. I'm... You're not going to Tudor? Is that,
maybe it is.
It's going to be the one after all the after Henry got rid of a few Catholics.
Yeah.
Then didn't she take over for a bit and get rid of a?
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of
no, you're right,
Protestants?
Frank. She did.
I think she did.
Well done.
My kind of gal. When I say that.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. And you come with Emily Dean and Steve Hall. You can text us on 81215. Follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or you can email us through the Absolute website. When the show, when I was thinking about what to play, I thought I need a song that says that I'm glad to be, that it's good to be back.
Isn't that glad to be gay?
Something about, me saying like, hello, it's good to...
The boys
good
are back in town.
Good to be back.
I know where...
I couldn't think of one.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, it's good that nothing...
So, Oprah.
What?
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey, darling. Oprah.
Oprah Winfrey went into...
you can't just go
that's
around...
the American pronunciation.
Pretending to be American, willy-nilly.
No, but that's an American... They call her Oprah, don't they?
Yeah, they also say albino, which you do for some strange reason as well.
And they say David Bowie.
They do, yeah.
They do.
Grand Old Opera. Anyway, Oprah Winfrey. Okay. No, I like your strange pronunciations. It's what makes you you.
I have to say, she's a desperately fortunate woman, isn't she?
Do you think so? Why?
Well, because she's perfectly fine as a presenter and interviewer.
Yeah.
I mean, she's fine. Is she any better than Trisha, for example? Is she, though? I don't think she is. She's fine. But she's like this multi-powerful, most powerful woman in America. How did that happen? There is a whole very small elite branch of showbiz of people who have no discernible specialities at all, who become massive.
Well, the competition wasn't that strong. You had Ricky Lake, who wasn't that great. Sally Jessy Raphael, not that strong.
But even so, why did any of them...
a lot of daytime TV watching, I see.
Why did any of them have to become the most powerful person? You know, the most powerful person in television, and that should be the most talented person in television. I'm not putting myself forward.
This is getting really awkward.
Anyway.
Well, she's got a lot of money.
It did remind me of Bob Monco saying to me, my daughter was born under a lucky star. Lionel Blair had the flat upstairs. And you can tell that joke. You could certainly tell that joke with Oprah Winfrey, I think.
Yeah, no,
I've got nothing. She's fine. I'm not saying she's no good. She's fine.
She's a very rich fine.
She's very rich.
Still no padlock on the fridge, though. She had what I call
this week... people are listening into this.
I'm going to call this MSD, which is major shop disrespect.
I should imagine Oprah's people spend all day going, can you believe this is happening? Most powerful... Yeah, she went into
she was snubbed.
A shop in, was it Switzerland?
It was Zurich, and she was there for Tina Turner's wedding, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And she decided she wanted to buy a bag for Tina Turner's wedding. I love that Tina Turner's getting married. I think that's brilliant. And she saw this bag that she liked, didn't she? And asked for the assistant to... This was her version of events, we should say, because the shop assistant has absolutely denied it. But she said, the woman said, it was too expensive. And she wouldn't show it to her. Right. She wouldn't get it down. This bag that she wanted for Tina's wedding. It cost £25,000, I believe.
Okay.
She said, I'll show you...
It was crocodile leather.
Yes. Thank you, Elton John.
That was a great film, wasn't it? That was Paul Hogan when he got a lot older and spent a lot of time on the beach.
When you say a lot older, what, 18 months? But it was from the Jennifer Aniston range, so Oprah was so upset.
I didn't even know there was a Jennifer Aniston range.
It's by Tom Ford.
She doesn't have an acting range.
So it's by Tom Ford.
Look, is it by Jennifer Aniston or is it by Tom Ford?
It's by Tom Ford, and it's called Jennifer Aniston.
What is her participation in it?
The bag has been named after her and inspired by her.
It's a bag that looked good in the 90s.
It was inspired.
What's wrong with you, man? Jennifer Aniston. Frank, stop him.
Jennifer Aniston is a very attractive woman, but it would be great if the bag had a top on it which was had a sort of party. If it's going to be inspired by Jennifer Aniston, surely it should be bitter and associated with sadness and loss.
She's getting married now.
Yeah, but you know, there's still a feeling, isn't there? Even on the day, she'll be thinking, well, it's not Brad, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, do you think so?
She might do a Ross and Rachel. She might say Brad's name instead of.
I mean, I think she's really attractive, Jennifer Aniston.
So do I.
But I haven't seen her. I haven't seen her bags.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've had an excellent tweet on the subject of suspicions and myths.
Superstitions.
And things. Yes.
Will you two stop saying suspicions, or I'm going to go?
There's a reason for it, which we'll discuss.
Yeah. I think it was originally put in as... Yeah.
Anyway.
Superstitions. It's a tongue twister. It's not even... It's just a word. I can't pretend that a word's a tongue twister.
No.
That's unacceptable. So, on the subject of superstitions, just calling himself Easter...
As in Barry's superstition, you know that. Barry's superstition.
Easter says, I talk through the lyrics...
Easter?
That's all they've referred. It's a Twitter handle.
Okay.
They didn't give a real name. I talk through the lyrics of "The Lord is my shepherd" as the plane rolls down the runway. Also weird, as I'm in the RAF.
Oh, wow.
That's fantastic.
Oh. Can that be... Oh, dear.
That would freak out
That's
your
worrying.
co-pilot.
Yeah.
The Lord is my shepherd is the anthem of West Bromwich Albion, by the way.
Oh.
Do they play that before every game then?
They don't play it, but they go, "The Lord's my ship," or sometimes
Oh,
"The
that's
Lord's
lovely.
my ship." Oh, not much. He makes me do too light. Yeah, they haven't done that one for a while, but maybe it'll come back. I, for one, would be happy.
I'm sure it's what he would have wanted.
I love a staccato hymn.
Yes, me too. Chris White has tweeted us.
Chris White.
I don't believe that a swan could break a man's arm. Load of nonsense.
Yeah, I've heard that, and
Do they do it with their...
It's one of those when you stop and think about it, it does seem a bit unlikely. It's a bit like Johnny Cash's story that he got back on drugs because painkillers he had to use after his ostrich broke his arm in a fight, in an ostrich fight. He wears black. Even ostriches don't wear all black. Even ostriches, they have a bit of white on top.
Oh, they're monochrome, all right.
And a purple legging, I think, on an ostrich. I could be wrong about that.
The kids from Fame.
Did they?
Yeah, the leg warmers
they
in the
liked
80s.
a feather and a spangle.
If you're a naturalist, I don't reprimand. I don't want to be ostracised.
Oh, lovely.
Did we find out about Bloody Mary, by the way?
Okay. I think
did someone say...
Someone emailed, didn't they? Charlotte emailed and explained it's the daughter of Henry VIII, who was
but that's a different Bloody Mary, I think.
No, Bloody Mary.
No, that's
right.
Catherine of Aragon's daughter, yes. But Bloody Mary is something different.
Bloody Mary was the
So you're
queen.
disagreeing with Charlotte's email?
She was queen for a bit, and she killed a lot of Protestants.
Yes.
This is what she...
But I think the suspicious, and I use that term correctly in this instance, Bloody Mary, is in like a folklore... I think that's different. Anyway, text us if there's another Bloody Mary, because I think there is.
Charlotte says that the daughter of Henry VIII had the highest kill rate for the year she was queen.
Okay. Respect.
And everyone she killed, she put in a little dash of Worcester sauce.
You see, I completely went for that.
Frank, can we not go back to the shop in Zurich with Oprah Winfrey and the Jennifer Aniston bag worth £25,000?
I'm just going to play... Yes, I want to go back there.
Okay, so do I.
Because I think we need to sort this out. I'm also taking Charlotte... what's she called? Cheryl Tweedy back into the toilet. I don't like these things lingering.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We're in Zurich currently. We're in a store with Oprah Winfrey, and she wants to see the Jennifer Aniston bag by Tom Ford. It's £25,000. The lady, the assistant, has said no.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Has said no.
Yeah, very important we say that. Allegedly, according to Oprah, has said no, she won't get the bag down for her. Now, obviously this became something of a story. Oprah talked about it. Oprah actually said, usually salespeople rejoice when I come to them.
I bet they do.
They're always hoping that she's going to buy one for every member of her audience.
Yeah.
So with that going, you get a crocodile handbag, you get a crocodile handbag, you get a crocodile handbag.
Yeah.
It's a shame, because I bet she was all set up to say, give me a crocodile handbag and make it snappy. And then the woman spoilt it by saying no when she's halfway through the punchline, and that's what's really... I mean, that is annoying.
She also said people usually press their noses against the window to see me shopping.
Did she say that? I must admit, she's not... it's not exactly Rosa Parks going to the back of the bus, is this? This is the £25,000 handbag that I want for Tina Turner's wedding. Tragedy.
It's sounding a little more Kanye West.
Yeah.
You should be honoured by my lateness. That's what it's sounding like.
Yes.
First they came for our crocodile handbag, and I did nothing.
Yeah. The nature of what she was buying was unfortunate in terms of the point she was trying to make. But who knows what really happened, Frank?
But the woman's... Sorry, Steve.
I felt quite sorry for the shop assistant, because she...
Yeah.
Did you see the quote in the news where she said that Oprah Winfrey cannibalised her?
Yes.
That's the word she used. It made me think some kind of Armin Mivers tribute act.
I think that sounds that she might be racist.
Yeah.
That's what she said. I don't know why someone as powerful as her should cannibalise me on TV.
But you see...
Well, why choose that as a verb?
Unless that's a comment on Oprah's size.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you ever get that, Frank? I don't wish to be unkind.
You know what? I've had virtually exactly this. I used to hire a shop. Not a shop. I used to hire a office in Piccadilly. It was actually... it was Sandy Toksvig's office.
Lovely.
And
but you're okay for waistcoats.
I hired it for... I don't know if she was doing waistcoats in those days. But anyway... I hired it from Sandy.
Oh.
And so I used to go and write there. And I was there, and then I got somebody phoned up and said, "Do you want to go to this do tonight?" And it was quite a fancy do. And I knew I wouldn't have a chance to go home. And I had trousers, like non-jeans type trousers on, but I had a T-shirt on, and I thought, I need a shirt. And I don't have long to get it. So there was a shop in Piccadilly, and it was one of those really posh shops. And I thought, I'd never normally go in here. And it's going to be expensive, but I really want to go to this thing. So I went across, a T-shirt on and stuff, and I said to the guy, I need to look at some shirts. He said, I don't think you'll be able to afford anything in here. And the young assistant was sort of going, ooh, 'cause I think he'd recognised me and the older guy hadn't. And I said, I'm not worried about not being able to afford them. I'm worried about the not very nice nature of the shirts. Because there was one there that was pink and white stripes and a white collar. One of those. It was those kind of shirts.
Yeah.
You know,
sort of man who drive a toe-to-toe tall car.
Lots of hanging out at Henley.
Sort of posh people who buy stuff that isn't very nice when they could buy stuff that was nice.
Posh people that have to live in Battersea, not the country.
Well, I don't know. Even the very posh. You see, I'm not going to name brands, so I don't want to put you in a difficult position, Emily. But one sees,
Thank you, I appreciate that.
like those, the sunglasses with big chunks of horrible gold on it, and stuff that looks like
I know,
like yacht wear.
It's when they have a portcullis down the side of the sunglasses.
Yeah, but those sort of blazers and you just think that's really horrible. But they don't know any better, the poor souls. So they have to buy it. And it was one of those shops. So, you know, I feel Oprah's... I'm calling her Oprah now. That's how much I've empathised. I feel her pain. Yeah, I think it's indigestion.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, I haven't seen you in a while.
No, it's been 2-3 weeks. It's been tough.
I know. I feel you need a little recap on what I've been up to.
I do need a little recap. You're quite right.
Like a sort of...
I had this olive and I thought it was pitted. And it wasn't. It took the end right off it.
This is like your previously on ER moment.
New readers start here is how I like to think of it.
Okay. So, I've been in Edinburgh for the last 2 or 3 weeks, Bob?
3 weeks.
He's my sort of companion on this jaunt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
did you advertise for a travelling companion in the paper that they used to do in Victorian England?
He's my Tonto. I'm doing a show with Russell Kane. We're working up there together, enjoying it enormously. It's going splendidly. Thank you very much for asking.
Steve might not know that I used to Russell Kane in the Caribbean back in the 1920s.
It's one of his lies, Steve.
It's a long story.
He likes to lie. But I stay in a different hotel every time.
Me lie?
Frank. I stay in a different hotel every single time.
Do
So
you?
it's a bit- yeah.
Why?
Bob, why?
Is there a fat one?
Bob was in charge of... How dare you?
Sorry.
I've been eating no carbs.
Sorry, Oprah. I didn't.
Different hotel each time. So a bit of a drive-by scenario going on. Which is good, because you don't need to tip so heavily, I find.
It's also good because I think if you stay in any hotel for more than about a week, you'll start finding faults.
Well, it's interesting you should say that, my friend, because I've already started finding fault. I'd been there 40 minutes and I started finding fault.
Okay.
It was less a hotel and more what I would call a very, very posh service department. When I say service, so you have a man bringing room service and you have porters and things. Oh, it was posh, Frank. But it was too big. And that was my first complaint. He showed me upstairs. There were so many rooms. I know this sounds bad, but there were too many rooms. There was too much to do. I looked at him and said, the lights are over there. So he was Scottish. Let's do the accent. Lights over there, the blinds there. I said, hang on. I said, this is too big. I feel really stressed about this. I said, this is like Downton Abbey. I feel like I'm running a house.
This is like too many notes, Mozart.
I said, what happens? There's a boiler. I don't want a boiler. I don't want that responsibility. I don't want to take responsibility for a boiler.
I think that's what the assistant said in Zurich. So, okay. I presume you weren't expected to do maintenance on it.
I said that. I said, I haven't got time. Because I found it really stressful. I said, I feel like Dame Maggie Smith. I've been given I need a degree in land management.
You said you've only got to bleed it every 48 hours. It'll be fine.
I just said, there's so many lights to be turned on and off. I didn't want this much space.
Oh, fabulous.
So he
It's
said,
like you're
well,
like
I'm
a
sorry.
Goldilocks of accommodation.
There was a lot to
Goldilocks of the
do.
3 stars.
There was a lot to do. So I said, all right. I said, well, you better go down now. I better get started on all the stuff I've got to do. I did. I genuinely said that. So then I said, look, you know what would help if you could get me a coffee? He said, we don't do coffee. I said, what do you do? He goes, we only serve alcohol in the rooms.
What?
I said, what?
I'm glad to see.
I said, I don't want alcohol.
A lot of people think that Scotland has lost its national characteristics with all the tourism, but no, they've stuck with it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Can we go back to Edinburgh briefly?
Yeah,
I just need to
let's
tell you
do
how
it.
this. So I'm in this very posh flat in Edinburgh. It's too big. I'm finding the maintenance of it exhausting, and I've made that very clear to the man.
You have.
I've asked for a coffee. He said, we only do alcohol. So that's it. I think he might have even offered me an Irish coffee at one point.
Well, that's, I like
That was the
compromise
start.
in any
Yeah.
debate.
I said, I don't want alcohol. I just want a coffee. He said, there's a coffee machine there. I said, but I'm in a hotel. I want a man bringing it on a tray and I sign a paper. That's why I like being in a hotel. I wasn't having it. Anyway, so then I said, look, I'm really hungry. And I didn't realise that this was an apartment. He said, well, there's nothing really.
McEwen's? Well, I meant
He
like
said-
solids. So solids. On a weekend.
He said, there's a supermarket down the road. I said, I don't want to do a weekly shop. It's 11 o'clock at night. I don't feel safe. So then he said, we've got a banana downstairs if that helps. If that helps? I don't want to help. I just
What,
want
the
food.
hotel banana?
Yeah.
It was a singular.
I like that he's got no idea who he's messing with. So he's saying it, there's a supermarket down there.
But he has got an idea. He's thinking posh English bird.
Yeah.
It's all gone a bit Oprah with the bag, hasn't
It has.
Well, in the end, it was very difficult because then it was great because things went wrong, so I felt really justified. Because I went to bed, pulled the blind down, it came clean off in my hand. It was like Mr. Bean. Then the headboard fell on me.
Oh.
I rung downstairs. I said, look, I am so stressed. I was almost crying by this point.
Yeah.
I said, I've never been so stressed in my life. This hotel, everything is going wrong. There were too many lights to turn on.
That's why they only serve alcohol, if they have to get everyone drunk enough to not mind.
I said, the bed's collapsed on me and the blinds come off in my hand.
When you said the bed's collapsed on me, did he go... and did he melt when he saw
No,
the
he
damsel in
didn't.
distress?
He
Okay.
said, oh dear, madam. He didn't melt at all.
It's like that he stopped with madam, though.
Yeah, he did.
That sounds like he's related to the cockerel's mother.
Well, when
She
I
says
left,
stuff like that.
I
Yeah.
got my revenge, Steve, because I said to the guy, can you make sure Mark gets this? I gave him 10 Scottish pound note.
Yeah.
And he said, I said, there you go. I said, bye, Mark, thank you. And he said, his name's Ali. So I'd got his name wrong, but I didn't care.
You got 10 quid, though,
Yeah, he got 10 quid.
for treating you like rubbish.
Yeah.
I know.
No, something wrong there.
Story of my
I
life.
suppose you'll put it in expenses.
I always get nervous if I complain in a hotel. The only hotel I've ever complained about how bad it was the one in Sydney. I don't know if can I name it if we're far away. Nope,
No.
I won't say it. And I complained because it was disastrous. And then when I left, they'd cloned my credit card, and I couldn't help but link the two.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So I was filming this week for a film about performance art.
Oh.
And when I don't know, occasionally when you're filming, you have ideas about how things might be improved.
Oh, dear.
You find yourself, you start a lot of sentences with the phrase, wouldn't it make more sense? ... Anyway, but I thought it went fine. I thought it was all quite amiable. And one of the scenes had a rubber duck in it.
What is this thing you're doing?
Well, it was about sort of, avant-garde performance art, the Dadaist movement, and we're back in Zurich. And the woman said, I'll give you the rubber duck at the end for your baby. And I thought, that's nice. So anyway, we had a couple of debates about how things should be shot, and I noticed that the rubber duck was sort of receding a bit, and it sort of got put away. Like, actually, you're being a bit awkward. Maybe I'll punish your child. So, I could have imagined that, to be fair, because I'm quite paranoid. But when we left...
You think?
But when we left, I said, I really enjoyed that, which I had. I'd had a really nice day. And she said to me, yes, thank you, and thank you for all your advice. And I thought, have I overstepped? And I really thought I was being nice. So you can't.
So did you get the duck?
I didn't get the duck. Did I?
She's like the soup Nazi in Seinfeld. No duck for you.
Yeah, but I thought we'd had a nice time. Anyway, speaking of ducking, that's what Ed Miliband should have done.
Oh, he got egged. He got egged.
So forlorn. Did you see it?
Well, he was smiling. He was doing that thing that people do of smiling. I don't mind. I'm fine being...
I thought he dealt with it well. At least he didn't punch someone.
I'd rather he'd have punched someone.
Yeah.
I noticed the man who threw it, by the way, had a shaven head.
He did.
And was wearing sportswear.
What I like, when an egg gets thrown, why is there always an observer? I watched the tape a few times, actually. There's always someone going, hey, hey, hey! There was a hey, hey, and a slightly screaming woman.
Yeah. I think that was Noddy Holder.
Well, because he did it quite indiscriminately. So there was an old lady near Miliband who also got covered in egg, and that's where I think it's out of order. If you're going to throw an egg, be a better shot. Only get the politician you're aiming for.
Also, he was protesting about the treatment of the homeless. There's a lot of homeless. They'd love a nice egg. How many homeless think, nice...
I like...
nice fried egg and maybe a meringue. And then people throwing them in the street.
I think an egg's a strange choice of weapon. Why do people always go to it's so Route 1 or get an egg?
It's a bit hard.
What about a sardine?
Well. That would be better.
Much better. It would leave a smell.
Yeah.
Or a plum tomato. Because that breaks on contact. I understand that's why they've gone for the egg.
I know, but it's the hard exterior of the egg makes it more unpleasant. I imagine they hurt.
Have you ever been egged?
Yes.
Have you been egged?
I was a student in Brighton. I had a miniskirt on.
Oh, well, you were asking for it. Judge Skinner.
That's what the police said.
Well, that's... the only good thing about it is it's about the only time now you get the word pelted in the press as if they're eggs.
Yeah, since the fur industry has declined.
Anyway, whatever you think of Ed, that's not acceptable. Shaven-head sportswear. Let's face it, that's the only kind of debating skills they've got. You know what I'm saying? Okay. That's it, really. Thanks very much if you did stick with it. Thanks for that as well. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out. Will you get out?
Frank
Skinner
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute